My previous test score is 169. I'm retaking in November, and my last two PTs were a 176 and 171.
Nice, solid. So you're in a pretty good place here. There are some fluctuations, of course. How many practices have you taken in the past, month, or let's say?
Past month, I've started studying like 3 weeks ago, so two.
Okay, all right. That's the
Yeah.
fun, I think. But you're taking it. Remind me your target test date.
November.
November. Okay, so we got a month and a
Yeah.
half. What's your planned or schedule or cadence of practice tests going forward?
So, I think for like the next 2 weeks, just one each, and then I'm gonna start, or maybe the next week it's gonna be one, and then the next two is gonna be like two per week.
Okay, and what else do you have going on? Are you working? Are you in school? Or just
I'm in
studying?
school.
Okay, so you're in school. Is it full time? Is your course load pretty busy?
It is full time, but it shouldn't be too busy because I really tried to minimize like extracurriculars and everything. So I'm like it's not too heavy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think that 2 exams a week is still a lot,
Mhm.
but if you're really strategic with your calendar, you could squeeze them in. My only concern
Uh-huh.
would be, will you still have sufficient time to review them as well as taking them? Because each exam, 2.5 hours, that's 5 hours to take them, plus review could be another 5 hours, that's 10, plus your coaching sessions with your coach, for example, or joining classes or working through the other material too. Do you feel like you can handle that all? How's it been going so far?
You know, I actually had a question about that.
Yeah, sure.
How much does course load matter going into the first quarter, of my senior year? I'm thinking of taking like 3 classes instead of four, to focus on like the LSAT, but wondering, if law schools really care about course load.
Good question. I mean, I'll say this, that they care about your undergraduate GPA. They
Mhm,
care that you earn your BA at the end of the day. But
mhm.
if you took relatively fewer credits one semester versus another semester,
Yeah,
as long as you graduate in time, I don't think that should really matter.
got it.
Are you still in a drop period where it would not be catastrophic to drop a class here or there?
Yeah, I go to,
Okay.
UCLA, so actually first class is today.
Oh, nice.
So,
Cool.
lots of time, yeah.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you joining despite class. UCLA, it's probably pretty early in the morning for you right now, huh? Appreciate you signing on. Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's fine if you can. I think it's a good idea, honestly, to be frank.
Uh-huh,
If you can take a lighter course load while you're studying for the LSAT,
mhm.
because the LSAT's going to weigh more heavily than all of undergrad combined. And
Right,
so, if that means you're taking 1 or 2 classes fewer for one semester,
yeah.
that's a pretty small percentage of your overall undergraduate career. And as a bonus, taking fewer classes will also help your GPA and it'll help your LSAT score even more, of course, which is what really matters.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, for
Steve,
sure. And you
is
can
this
also,
time, can you is looking over personal statements, talking about resumes, is that what this time is for too? I was a little confused in the text.
yeah. Yeah, we could talk
Okay.
about that also. Yeah, tell me your questions on, I mean, we can't go over a draft right now, but if you want
Yeah.
to talk it through, we can.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm for my personal statement, I'm talking about well, I'll just like say the first line was like in an effort to fight climate injustice, I went undercover in a commercial real estate firm. And I sort of
Ooh.
talk about an experience that how I used to really be like more of like an advocate, was talking to representatives, advocating for like a certain act, and I kind of go into the storytelling of that. But then I talk about how going into college with like peers and professors really like expose the limitations of my perspective, and how the example of climate gentrification where the injustice was obvious but the mechanisms were not, and that really like, kind of led me down this path of like trying to understand finance, because it was so connected to climate gentrification. And then I talk about how, I joked with a friend, like, what if I worked in commercial real estate? And so eventually, like, I did end up doing that. And it really, like, I guess, changed my mind about how the financial system works and how it, like, really connects with like social and environmental issues, and how I guess the regulatory side of that is really what inspires me to go to law school. That's kind of how I have it laid out.
Got it. I mean, that sounds like a really fun story. I'm actually are you able to stick around for like another half hour or so, Avery?
Yes, I was planning on it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, because we have our next guest coming on. I think she's going to get a kick out of your question. I see her laughing in the backstage here. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one for her to tackle as well. I'll just give you my quick take on it, which is that I
Yeah.
think this story going undercover seems to have quite a bit of drama to it, which could be interesting. I think that could be a lot of fun, actually. Yeah, so I'm curious to get Anne's take when she joins us in a little bit. But I think you've probably got the makings of something there in my non-expert take on the admission side of things. I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
But to bring it back to the LSAT for a moment
Yeah.
here, because we have a little more time on you, I want to stick to the LSAT if we can.
Mhm.
We're looking. What's your ultimate goal score specifically? Because you mentioned that you're at 169 now. You're looking for 171, 176, right? Those are your two
Yeah.
practice test scores.
Yes.
And you're taking it in November. You've got a full course load, but you're looking to lighten it a little bit.
Mhm.
And what's your biggest struggle right now on the LSAT side of things?
I would definitely say, like, would you mean, like, in terms of, like, the actual questions and things I'm getting wrong, like, wrong answer patterns, or more just, like, general broad issues with my LSAT studying?
Any of the above, really. I mean, what's the biggest barrier to you getting the next 5, 10 points?
I think variability within like in terms of my timing, because there are some tests where I'm like I have like 5 minutes left, some sections, and then other sections where I have like 1 minute left, and I definitely see like a difference in my score when I have like a lot of time left versus no time left.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we got to think for you here about running out of time and what causes you to run out of time within certain sections. Do you get bogged
uh,
down or do you get stuck? Are you able to recognize when you encounter a question, is this a question where I'm going to be able to hammer away at it for another minute or two and get some additional clarity? Or
uh,
am I in a place where I'm just kind of spiraling and I can't move on?
yeah.
Can you recognize when you've got to flag it, skip it, and come back later? Are there certain question types where you're like, lengthy parallels towards the end of the section, I do not like, or really technically worded stimuli on natural science topics, for example, or philosophy or aestheticism? When I encounter those, should I, you know what, just take a pause, take a deep breath, flag it, skip it, come back to it later? Can you recognize quickly what you don't like to deal with?
I think so. Not 100% confident on that, but for the most part, yes.
Okay, so the first step is recognizing it. The second part's actually doing it.
Okay, because I think what ends up happening is the questions that I do flag are usually the ones that I end up getting wrong. So I know that there's in me like recognizes that I have a hard time with it.
Okay, good. All right. So that I think that you probably already know what you're prone to have struggles with. The thing I would recommend for you for just a time allocation, time management perspective is let's flag it. Let's
Mhm.
not deal with it anymore right now because every
Oh,
question on the LSAT is worth the same, but
yeah.
not all of them are of equal difficulty and some will take you a lot longer than others. So
Mhm.
my recommendation is first, you know what you don't like to deal with. Secondly, you actually flag it. Third, you
Yeah.
move on from it and don't spend any more time on it. Don't throw good time after bad. Complete the
Uh-huh.
section. Then and only then come back to it. That way, you've locked up all the easier points. You've built up some momentum, and you have a
Mhm.
time bank that you can then use to come back and tackle the tougher ones later when you already have the security of knowing that you've completed the section.
Right. Okay.
And then
I
as a
have a
yeah, go ahead,
question.
please.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask about reading comprehension. Like a specific question I had was I was curious, like for top test takers, how much time, like once they read that passage, how much time do they go back and reread? Like, is it them mostly staying on the question and going through the questions, or do they go back and reread a lot?
I wouldn't say they go back and reread a lot, but they go back strategically to target specific lines in the passage to confirm particular answer choices.
Okay.
And there are some open-ended questions where you have no choice to go back because unless you can hold the entire passage in your head, which is a pretty tall order.
Uh-huh.
One last thing I was going to say for you, Avery, on the logical
Yeah.
reasoning side
Yeah.
was with the particular question types that give you struggle, they're the
Yeah.
ones that you're most prone to flagging, skipping, coming back later.
Mhm.
Beyond everything else we talked about, my last recommendation was going to be to actually work on your weak areas outside of the context of a full exam. And so if it was the parallel reasoning or if it was the technical science passages, for example, you then drill those areas separately to raise your overall average understanding of those topics or question types so that when you come back, you'll be able to adequately tackle them.
Got it. Okay. Then that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. And Avery, please stick around. If you could write up a quick summary of your personal statement question, I think we could probably talk about it a little bit more in a bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, folks who are just joining us here, September LSAT score live stream, if you could just drop it in the comments what your score was when you took it, if you got your score back, if you're planning on a retake, how your score related to your goal score, and when you're taking it, we can then try to give you some advice and recommendations for your retake prep if you are retaking in November or January or beyond. We're all here and happy to help you out.